We got Ian from my team.
Okay, so thank you everyone. My name is Charlie Lai. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So my name is Charlie Lai. I'm the director of Chongpak, the building right over here, and that the building here is we had 88 senior citizens housing units, and these are many of my seniors. Some of the folks that are here clearly are also part of the community. Whoa. And that talks about so anyway. So I want to thank you all for coming, and I just want to quickly introduce to the organizer. Even I speak English better than I don't speak any Chinese much. So Sam Wu is the president of the New York Chinese Association. It is his organizing effort to try to put this thing together because he, as a member of the community and also a civic leader in Chinatown, are very interested in making sure that our community, has its rights and be safe and providing all kinds of services. So the organization is doing a lot of this work. So let me just say, introduce Sam. You can talk to him because he speaks Chinese and he could, if someone can actually translate, it would be even better. Good. Oh, I do want to say that I want to thank our council member Chris Conte. No.
If you want to.
OK， 好，我係紐約華人總統所伍錫成主席。我哋今日咧代表我哋馬埠同埋咧我哋嘅會員，要幾百嘅會員同埋我哋啲家屬都係住喺呢個區嘅。咁咧佢哋咧呢度搞嘅餐館同埋夜中會嘅形式，咁咧對嘅社區咧對我哋嘅小區嚟講咧影響非常之大。到時候咧如果佢開嘅時候咧，佢嘅時間咧。晚上嘅10點鐘至到嘅4點鐘，凌晨嘅4點，所以呢類嘅時間咧係完全係嗰啲市民嘅休息嘅時間。如果佢咁樣咧，就干擾晒成個區嘅環境同埋嘅治安嘅噪音所有咧帶嚟咧好多嘅唔方便嘅。咁咧，所以咧我哋咧會員同埋我哋嘅社區咧，我哋有大力嘅反對同埋。支持我哋今日嘅抗議我哋有更呼籲更多嘅橋田、行街嘅橋田同埋咧居民，大家一起出嚟，要爭取我哋要反對，唔能夠喺佢呢個餐館同埋夜總會嘅模式。多謝你。
Do a quick translation.
So today I'm standing here with hundreds of members from our community to oppose this nightclub in our neighborhood. The operation time of this nightclub is very long. It goes late into the night. It starts early, very early. It creates lots of noise, and it creates, public safety issues for a community. And that's why I'm standing here with members of the community to oppose this project, to bring, equity, public safety, and quality of life to our community. So thank you all for being here.
Good. So we are really pleased to have a council member to be here with us to speak a few words about peaceful situation.
Thank you. First of all, I just want to thank Sam and Charlie for really organizing this and leading the charge in making sure that our neighborhood has the quality of life that it deserves. Right? If you look up the organizers that want to take over this establishment, you would know the type of track record they have doing massive nightclub parties until 4 a.m. Chinatown and communities of color already have a stigma, and sometimes that's used against us. And having these clubs in this neighborhood that's generally pretty quiet, it's only going to bring a lot more harm to not only this community, but also to our image. I represent a community that has one of the biggest nightlife establishments in the whole city. We call it Hell Square. We call it Hell Square for a reason, because it's hell for the residents. Many can't sleep, many wake up to vomit, urine on the sidewalk, and every single day my office gets complaints of the things that they're going through currently. We can't move that situation right here, right in front of a senior home, right near where potentially the jail might be demolished, and where we have one of the largest aging communities in the whole city. And so my office today wrote a letter to the SLA telling them to relook at how they got their liquor license, because there's a lot of questions into how they were able to attain it from Pirelli's, even though it closed post-pandemic. And so we want to make sure that they have to go through the real route to make sure that they talk to the community, they listen to our stipulations, and they'll abide by them as well. And secondly, we're addressing the quality of life in that letter. Like, no establishment should be open to 4 a.m. We know what happens at 4 a.m. And when you look at what's across the street from here, we have Columbus Park. We have thousands of seniors that go out there every morning, are there all day, and the last thing we need is people stumbling from this nightclub to go there and disturb the peace. And so that's why my office is standing here, not only with Charlie and Sam, with all these residents, and I thank them for coming out, because this is how we get our voices heard.
Yay! Thank you, Chris. Really appreciate it.
So other than this rally, other than the rally and write a letter to the letter, so what we can do to stop the nightclub.
So the community board is going to have a hearing in the SLA committee next week on Monday, and so members of the community, also Chinatown Core, the Block Association, are sending materials there, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to show up to show their discontent.
What time is the meeting? What time is the meeting?
The meeting is at 6:30. There's a Zoom link to the community board. This is the committee.
It's a board 3, isn't it?
It's community board 3. So, and again, all the community members are more than encouraged to sign up and attend, because this is really about our voices. When things are being moved on behind the scenes, nobody knows anything. But when we know that something is actually not quite right, it's our responsibility to make sure that all the appropriate entities, from city agencies on down to state agencies, must take bring our concerns into consideration.
Can you tell me what is exactly the address of the nightclub?
It's 91 to 93 Baxter Street. So I just want to say, I represent the building here, that many of my residents are clearly our community's forebears. They worked a lifetime making this community the way it is, and allowing us to thrive and succeed. So they deserve, a quiet place to sleep, to rest. And so we owe them the level of respect that we cannot summarily say, we're just having fun, we just, make some money, and that's the end of the story. So there is about, having this, respect, and also, being a good neighbor to the larger community. So I want to say that, not only the fact that, I manage 88 senior housing units for some 105 elderly residents. Some of them, most of them are from 66 to even 109 years old. So we have a huge, elderly population here. But we also, Chongpak also runs and manages, businesses. So we are totally supportive of businesses in the community. We want economic activity, but it has to be right. It has to be appropriate, so that we all can actually thrive together, not one at the expense of the other. So I want to be very clear that people were saying you're against something, you're anti-business. That is absolutely not true.
Yeah, many people in this community support a lot of the businesses on this street, right? There's Whiskey Tavern, that's a bar. Their owner is super respectful, always working with stakeholders in the neighborhood. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for someone that's going to work with us to make sure that this is a win-win-win for the small business, but then also for the residents.
That's right.
I got a question for you, Bonnie. The city council repealed the news laws not allowing dancing. bought liquor establishments. Since then, you think that contributed to proliferation of dance clubs?
I do agree. That was before I was in the city council, as you're aware, and I was
Would you say
against that.
they need the city council need to revisit this?
I hope that they would.
So who's the owner of this building to rent this place to those clubs? Like the white are they?
Well, I should take a step back. I mean, Fellinis have been around for a long, long time. My building is only around for 30 years. For that 30 years, we love Fellinis. They are a wonderful neighbor, a great business, and so these are some of the things that we were talking about how we could actually be extremely respectful. So in the last 6 months or so, the owners of Fonini, they sold the building to some other entity, and then from that new entity, got this potential business that wants to come in to turn it into a restaurant slash bar, possibly nightclub, and given their past history and who are they part of the overall team to manage that new business, it makes us really, really concerned that it could easily change into a nightclub that would make it impossible for us to then change it. So we have to get a real clear understanding as to what is going to be happening, and that they must be fantastic neighbors, which
We're not sure if they're really going to turn into a nightclub, or we're already 100% like confirmed they're going to become like a 10 to 4 a.m. nightclub, or they're potentially going to become.
Well, they're seeking 4 a.m. As closing time, and if you look around, like what type of businesses close at 4 a.m., especially with their track record of running nightclubs. And so we don't want to wait until we see the nightclub to push back. We have to be proactive and make sure that we have our voices at the table and we can negotiate what type of business comes here.
So did you talk to the owner of the building, to discuss what type of business to come?
So if I was an egomaniac, I would say, how come they didn't talk to us? Well, the reality is that they did, and they just thought that this is a construction project, or that this is part of the jail, and they could see, just looking at the doors, it's not the jail, and to a point where they also identify, the criminal courts. There's a dental office in there, so this is how they're reviewing the community. So we have serious doubts as to how serious they are looking at to become good neighbors if they don't even know across the street, who are their neighbors and how would potential impact the neighborhood. So and of course, going up and down the line is that they only claim that, oh yeah, this business is here, but they never looked up beyond the second floor. They looked at their own building and say, oh yeah, we have tenants here, but nobody complained. Well, nobody complained about Fonini's, but they didn't even go down next door to look up at all tenement apartments, every building up the block. So these are real concerns that we are talking about, the ecology, right? Of the